Alright, welcome to Roy's Game Table. Today we have Chapter 4, The Forsaken Inn. So pull up a chair and let's continue our quest. That's right, Chapter 4, The Forsaken Inn. And without any hesitation, let's go ahead and jump right in it. The Forsaken Inn. Hanara's information points you to the Forsaken Inn, the last outpost between Breland and Rivendell, far to the east. Within the dilapidated walls rests an agent of the enemy. You will need to ferret out the spy before they can alert their allies or escape, and extract information regarding the plans of your foe. The next adventure will be a battle map. Note, this is a mystery scenario. Players will need to use deduction to win. Okay, we're in the Forsaken Inn. And just as with the other chapters that I've done, I get a chance to level up now. And so if you're not interested in watching level up, I will put a timestamp in the description to let you go ahead and jump to the start of the game. Otherwise, you can stay and watch me as I level up. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do with, as you see, Beravor there has 7 XP. And so I can get one of these 7 cost cards, and I think I'm going to do that. And one of the cards that I'm looking at getting, I've already looked at, there's 2 copies of Ambush, Shortcut, and Find a Way. And I'm thinking I'm going to be getting the card Find a Way. Now, the reason why I want to do this is there's a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm actually thinking about switching Beravor over to the Burglar role in this. On this, it is a battle map, and I know it just said we're going to have to solve a mystery, but I do think there's going to be quite a bit of combat, and so I'm switching over to Burglar to try to help her with offense and defense for the hidden cards, defensively and offensively, to give successes on attacks. But I don't want to completely leave her without any way to sprint, because I do want her to be a mobile character, because I'm thinking about trying her in Burglar for the next couple of chapters to see how that goes. And by switching out a Pathfinder, I'm going to be losing the 3 Pathfinder cards that give sprint. And so she'll only have the 2 that come in her specific cards. But by putting Find a Way in here, as you can see, I'll have sprint 1, so I'll have 3 cards. But the other big thing is when I sprint, I can either become determined. Let me show you what that is. This is determined. And so as you can see, when you test, you may discard this boon to discard any number of cards from the test to reveal that many additional cards. So I could get that boon, or I can gain an inspiration. I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of ways to gain inspirations. This card can help me do that. And also in future scenarios, or I could scout 1, which if I sprint, she can already do that, her ability. But, I may use that, I may not. But the biggest thing is I want to be able to get an inspiration if I need it, or possibly determined. And if you know from the rules, when you buy a card from one role, you can keep it even when you switch roles. And so I'm going to be able to use this as a Burglar, and or any other role I decide to choose for her to be. So I'm going to go ahead and take Find a Way. All right, so we're going to go to the app and let the app know that we're going to do that. Now, I'm going to keep Trail Sign in her deck. So she's going to have Trail Sign and Find a Way in her deck when we get started on this next chapter. Now, let's go over to Legolas. So we're done with her. Now, if we go over to Legolas, if you remember, I had Gather Supplies in his deck, and here's the copy of Gather Supplies. And I really liked it, and I did get to take advantage of it in the last game. After you prepare it, you gain an inspiration, and then you can rest, so he can shake off some damage. He only has a damage cap of 4, and he can scout 3 when he rests, and that is very good, and I am tempted to keep it. But again, I think there's going to be some combat in this scenario. Even though it is a mystery, I'm trying to draw somebody out, so I'm thinking I'm going to be fighting a boss. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up selling this Gather Supplies. So I'll go ahead and do that. And instead, in its place, I'm going to buy Deathstroke. before you strike with the skill, add lethal to the attack. Okay, so I'm going to put that in his deck in place of Deathstroke. So I'll go ahead and purchase that. And as you can see, that leaves him with 3 XP. And so there was a card that I had in Chapter 2 that I actually took out for Chapter 3 called Coordinated Strike. And as you can see there, before you strike with the skill, if there's another hero in your target space, add a modifier of your choice to the attack strike 1. So by putting both of these in, I'm getting 2 more strike cards. He already has several as a hunter. I'm going to get 2 more. And so I think that's going to help him with any combat that goes up. And so we're going to get both of those cards and put them in his deck. Okay, and so we've got all the leveling we're going to be doing here. Now, if you also remember from the end of the last game, we acquired the old pipe, and I'm going to give that to Legolas for this game, and that'll come in with 2 trinkets on it that I can spend during the rally phase to prep 2 cards, as long as there is not an enemy nearby. So, and I don't have enough lore to upgrade any of my my great bow or the staff or any of the items, so I won't be doing that. And we'll go ahead and continue. And I am going to leave Legolas as a hunter for now, but I'm going to have Beravor become a burglar, as I said. And I have put the correct cards in her deck and taken the cards out that shouldn't be in there. So let's embark. The Forsaken Inn is a stout, unforgiving stone building that rises suddenly out of the wilderness. Place battle maps as indicated. Okay, and as you can see, I've got that set up, so let's go ahead and continue. The barred windows and thick oaken door are foreboding, though they are clearly intended to make the lone building as safe and secure from outside threats as possible. However, you know there is a very dire threat within those walls. It is up to you to end that threat. Place heroes as indicated. Each hero scouts 3. Okay, so it looks like we're coming in over here near the entrance. Okay. And we're going to each scout 3. Okay, so we'll start with Beravor on the scouting. And let's see what she gets. She can get Time of Need, Clever Wit, or Quiet. Okay, so that new Burglar card. All right, well, Wit is her worst. It is her worst stat, and who knows? Talking to these people, you may need to be able to outwit them. But it really would be nice to have Quiet prepped so that I can, when I hide, I can discard that and stay hidden and gain an inspiration. But I think what I'm going to do is prep Clever Wit just in case she may need it, and then I'll put the Quiet on top for the success and Time of Need on the bottom because I don't have any inspirations. All right, so let's go to let's go to Legolas. He scouts 3, and he can do 2 of them if he wants: Deathstroke, Ancient Wisdom, and Undying Might. Okay, well, I definitely want to do Deathstroke for sure, and keep that hopefully for the boss as long as I can. Ancient Wisdom, who knows? I may need it. I don't want to use a trinket right now. Undying Might is usually something needed, though, for damage tests and last stands. So I am kind of tempted to go ahead and spend a trinket to prep that. If I get into a lot of fights, I think I will. It is the rally phase. There are no nearby enemies, so I'm going to discard a trinket to allow him to prep Undying Might as well, and then I'll put Ancient Wisdom at the bottom. And by the way, because Resourceful came in the game at the start of the game, he gets to get an inspiration. All right, so we'll go back to the app and let the app know that we're going to continue. Okay, place the following terrain: 1 statue, 2 bushes. Okay, so the statue will go here in the middle square, and it looks like there's going to be a bush or 2 bushes next to each other in this top part. All right, we'll continue. And we got some walls that are coming out. Okay, so there's a wall that's going to be right here. And then looks like two walls will go next to each other to really block off this edge over here. And there's going to be a wall over there by the bushes. I think that's it. I don't see anything else. Nope. Okay, so we'll continue. You have 4 walls. All right, 3 tables and 1 fire pit. Okay, so we have a table that's going to come in over here. A table that's going to come over here, looks like in the middle of this spot. The fire pit is going to be in the center square, and a table over here near this wall. Okay, let's move on. 1 barrel and 1 statue. All right, so the barrel token will come back here, and the statue is going to come right here. The atmosphere of this place is like a cat stalking the outskirts of a crowd of people, apprehensive and hesitant. You should be careful what you say. Uttering any of the information you learned from Hanara could alert the spy. Threat increases by 5. Each hero gains 1 inspiration. All right, so let's give them both an inspiration. So now Legolas has 2 and Beravor has 1. If the spy is of any skill, they will have a way of slipping in and out of the inn without attracting notice. They should also carry wounds from their encounter with Hanara. You must discover which guest at the inn meets both of these criteria before they grow too suspicious. But you are sure the enemy agent will try to lie about their injuries. You will have to use all your powers of deduction to capture them. Objective updated, discover which guest is the spy. All right, so we got some clues there that they can slip in and out without notice, so I got to pay attention to that, and they should have wounds from their encounter with Hanara, the ranger. A garden of herbs and hardy vegetables grow to one side of the yard. Place a search token as indicated. All right. A hulking, muscular woman with a shaved head tends the bar. She keeps a sharp watch on the guests, guarding the back room from filchers. Place a person token as indicated. All right, so she's at the bar. That's where I guess that's where that is. Behind the innkeeper, an ancient black cat lies on the window sill. Place a search token. Okay. Several thin, dusty books are laid near a window. Place a search token. All right, so it's near the statue over here and the barrels. A tall, thin man smokes a long pipe in the corner. Place a person token as indicated. All right. A barred window looks out over the wilderness. Place a search token as indicated. A diminutive, curly-haired hobbit lass huddles close to the fire, eating stew and drinking a tankard of ale. Place a person token as indicated. A broad-shouldered dwarf in a blue cloak hunches over a table near the door. Place a person token as indicated. All right. There are several points of interest around the inn, and you might be able to find clues as to who the spy is by searching them. The bushes, statues, barrels, and fire pit do not function as normal. Unique terrain is marked by a sparkle effect. Instead, any hero can interact with them to search for evidence, okay? Action phase. Okay, so let's go to the board and see what I want to do. And I've spent some time thinking about it, what I want to do first. I don't think I want to talk to any of the people yet because I don't want to alert the spies and have them start to run away yet. Apparently that's what can happen. So I'm out here. There is a statue and some bushes out here that are sparkling, which means they're like kind of like points of interest. and you know, might be a good spot for the guy to hide a weapon or something, or maybe he bled and got some blood on the statue. So I'm going to search those first, and I'll just have Legolas go first, and I'll have him step back here to the statue and interact with that statue. So let's go back to the app and investigate it. A statue in the Forsaken Inn small yard is crumbling and worn. Nothing seems strange about the old stone effigy, and its inscription is similarly worn away by time. However, there is something caught beneath one edge of the statue. You attempt to move it. All right, might. And that is his worst stat. But if you remember, we did prep Undying Might, and I have 2 inspirations. So maybe I can get enough successes here to pass. Let's see what happens. He gets to draw 2. So there's 2. All right, so I didn't draw any successes straight up. I can get 3 though if I use both inspirations and Undying Might, and I really want to know what's under here, but I don't want to spend all my inspirations, but I think I will. I do have Resourceful. I can get another one, so I'm going to use 2 inspirations and Undying Might to go ahead and get 3 successes so I can try to figure out what's going on here on this statue, what it is that he sees in the statue. So let's go back to the app, put in 3 successes. The statue shifts slightly, revealing a ripped section of vellum, yellowed with age. The scrap of paper contains a fragment of an amusing song that raises your spirits. Become determined. Well, I don't know how much that helped, but he will become determined. So I've got that in his player area. And, you know, at least we looked. Okay, so now he does have 1 more movement point. I'll just have him move back up here. I might leave this search token here alone because I don't know how helpful it is. It may be helpful, but if I really need to, maybe I can come back out. But now it's Berevor's turn. And I'm going to have her move into the bushes over here and have her interact with those. Oh, by the way, at the end of Legolas's turn, I'm going to go ahead and use Resourceful to get an inspiration so that he can be sure to have one on his next turn. Okay, so Beravor has moved over there to the bushes. And so let's go to the app and interact with those. Thick wild bushes grow together in tangled prickly masses. You push aside the thin needled bushes, shaking and rustling the branches. You disturb a nesting robin whose loud noises and insistent pecking force you to concede that no one trying to be stealthy could be using these bushes. You back away and watch the feathered mother tend to her young. Suffer 1 face down damage, then gain 1 inspiration. Well, her travel garb, it says before you suffer face down damage, you may prevent 1 of that damage, and so I will. So she's not going to take the damage, but she will get an inspiration. I guess that's good. I got ways to get successes, and now we know these 2 things outside aren't really useful because you know, he wouldn't be trying to hide here or anything, and probably didn't try to hide anything. But she does have 1 movement point left, so I'm going to do what I did with Legolas and put her back over here in this space, and that will end their actions. The shadow deepens, though hope yet endures. Threat increases by 4. All right, rally phase. So each hero is going to reset their deck and scout 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with Beravor first. For her scouting, she can get Ways of Old or Honed Agility. Now, Honed Agility does help with her attacks, and Ways of Old, as you see there, I let her sprint. And then she can turn a fate into a success and scout 1. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and do Honed Agility in case I need it for any kind of test. And then I'm going to put the Ways of Old on top so that I can be sure to get a success because I'm going to have her interacting with something here soon, obviously. So that's her scouting. And then Legolas can get Time of Need or Clever Wit. You know, again, we may have to outwit somebody, and he is determined, but he may have to outwit somebody. So I'm going to have put Clever Wit into play, prepared, and then As for time of need, I don't think I want to use my trinket just yet, my last trinket, to prep that. He does have an inspiration he could turn into a success, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just put this at the bottom, hopefully get some successes and save up his inspirations. So that's his scouting. Let's go back to the app, continue, and action phase. Okay, well, as I said, I think I want to take Beravor here. And this search token up here was a window, and I think it was a barred window. Let me just check real quick. Yes, a barred window looks out over the wilderness. I want to make sure that stays barred because I don't want the guy to escape, and I think I may be able to do that. And who knows, I might get a clue. And so I'm going to have her, for her first action, move up over here 2 spaces to the search token. And now that she's not nearby Legolas, because she's a burglar now with self-sufficient, if she when she tests, if there are no nearby heroes, you may convert 2 fate icons to a success. I'm going to want to remember that because I may be able to save up her inspirations. So she's moved 2 for first action. Let's interact with that token. Okay, so we're going to search. When you turn back to the end, you realize that everyone's attention has passed over you. Threat decreases by 3. Discard this search token. Well, I mean, you know, I decreased threat. I get a little bit more time. I guess that's good. But really nothing else happens. And that's the end of her turn. So Legolas now, I mean, I could go to the fire, but the fire pit, it just kind of looks like he'll eat. And I mean, maybe that's helpful, but I think it's time to go ahead and talk and interact with people. I would like to search the fire. So something tells me the hobbit there at the fire is not going to be the spy. So I'm going to have him move 2 spaces up here with her and have him interact with that hobbit. So let's see what she says. The diminutive curly-haired hobbit, you know, is eating stew, drinking. All right, so how is the food here? What do you think of the other guests? Have you found travel dangerous? Apprehend the spy. Okay, so I got to be real careful here. I feel like what do you think of the other guests would be a little too obvious right now. I don't know for sure. I don't want to ask how the food is. I think I'm going to ask her if she's found travel dangerous and see if maybe I can get some good information with that one. Not as much as everyone was worried about. I'm little. I can disappear easily from the wrong sorts of folks. Your casual small talk sounds natural. Okay, threat decreases by 3. Well, we do know one of the clues is that, you know, the spy can disappear real easily, so that it could be her. It could be her, but I don't get to find out this turn because that's his final action. So we're going to go now to the shadow phase. The shadow deepens, the hope yet endures, threat increases by 4. And because I decreased the threat so much that time, we don't have the event, and that's good. So each hero resets and scouts 2. Okay, so we'll start with Beravor again, and she can get either Unyielding Spirit or Trail Sign. Okay, well, this might help with Legolas. I was going to keep Legolas in that spot where he's at right now, but there is that cat in the back, and so I'm thinking, you know, why not take a step over there and test and just, you know, interact with that search token because it's in the space right next to him, and then maybe come back because I really want to talk some more to that girl. So Trail Sign's a pretty good one. I think I'm going to go ahead and prep that, and also it will get my it'll get a blank out of the deck, and then I'll put Unyielding Spirit. I'll just put it at the bottom. Maybe successes will be up at the top. Okay, but she has 4 cards prepped, as you can see, so I can't prep any more. If I don't spend any, I'm going to be stuck with those. So I got to keep that in mind. All right, let's go back over to Legolas and let him scout 2. Coordinated Strike and Precise Strike. I'm going to go ahead and put Precise Strike back on the top. I do eventually want Coordinated Strike out in the game anyway and to get it out of my deck, so I'm going to put Coordinated Strike and prep it in his area. And so now he's got 3 out of 4 prepped. This is the boon that he had. So let's go back to the app and say that we're done. Okay, action phase. Okay, I think I'm going to have Legolas go ahead and go first. And this search token over here, that is that cat. And I can interact with that for free with Trail Sign from Beravor. So for his first action, I'm going to move him into this space. And I guess I can interact with it even though that table's there. I don't think that's a barrier. Okay, no, so it doesn't seem to be a barrier. So I am going to interact with that cat. I'm going to have Beravor discard Trail Sign because he moved in there. I'm going to have her discard this so that he can interact with that search token in the back there. And so let's go to the app and let Legolas do that. And this is going to be a free action because Trail Sign has given it to him. Behind the innkeeper, an ancient black cat lies on the windowsill. All right, the cat does not seem impressed by your attention. You will have to try something else. So we got to test wit, okay? Well, he has a wit of 3, and I do have clever wit prepped. And we know we have that success. Nothing. 2 successes. I'll go ahead and use clever wit to make it a 3 success because I really want to see if this cat, what it's going to do. So I've got 3 successes. Let's go back to the app and let it know that I have that. The cat stands and stretches, bounding over to you for much deserved head scratches. You find yourself distracted, however, because when the cat rose, it knocked loose one of the window bars. Upon closer inspection, these bars are only placed to look as though this window was barred correctly. The spy could remove these bars to climb out of the narrow window if they were thin enough, but the dwarf is certainly too wide to fit through here. Discard this search token. Okay. All right, well, we didn't get an inspiration or anything, but we did learn something. I don't think the dwarf, just based on that, is going to be our spy because he can't fit through the window. That means either the thin guy can or the hobbit can. And, the hobbit can sneak away, she said. So I'm really starting to think it's that hobbit. And I could go back into that last square with his next... He has one more movement point. I could go back into there and talk to her because I do have 1 action left. But I think I got some time. I'm not sure what I want to do. Let me think about it. Okay, I've thought about it some, and I think while I'm in here, I'm going to talk to the innkeeper. Maybe this isn't a good decision, but I want to interact with her. And again, I can do this because I still have another action left because Trail Sign gave him the action to interact with that search token. So I'm going to interact with this person token. And the innkeeper, a hulking muscular woman with a shaved head, tends the bar. Ale and stew, please, wide built and well here. I want her to tell me about other guests. You consider subtle ways to ask about the other guests, all right? It's a wit test. So let's see what he can do here. Again, it's a wit of 3. Good, there's a success. That. 2 successes. I'm going to use this inspiration to get 3 successes because I'm hoping I can ask about that hobbit and get some more information on the hobbit. So let's go to the app and tell the app that I've got 3 successes. The innkeeper nods knowingly and lowers her voice. Well, they keep to themselves mostly, and I give them their privacy. They've all been here about a week now, and I'm appreciating the coin and the company. None of them complain when I lock everyone in for the night. Some guests hate that, but it's for their own good. No one comes or goes when the moon's high. I'm always willing to let a guest out into the yard for a midnight pipe if they need it. But even then, I keep a close watch just in case. All right, so apparently that tall guy, he's smoking a pipe. He doesn't like it, I think, when she locks him in, but sometimes she'll let him out to smoke, so it could be him. It's either obviously going to be the hobbit or the other guy, and we'll just think about it more and see what happens. So he does have 1 more movement point, and I think with that movement point, I'm going to move him back in here because remember, he used his first action to move in here for 1. Trail Sign let him interact with the search token down here. And then for his second action, he interacted with the innkeeper, and then he has one more movement point. He can come back in here, and next time I can talk to both of these people, maybe get a little bit of information and start trying to apprehend one of the spies. But for now, that is Legolas's turn. So now let's go to Beravor, and actually I can go ahead and interact with that tall guy over there right now on this turn with her. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that for her first action. So, do you have a spare pipe? What do you think of the other guests? Pardon me, could I interest you in a healing salve? All right, I want to know what he thinks of other guests right now. The room seems to stand still, every ear listening. All right, test spirit. Well, her spirit is a 3. She does have a couple of inspirations, but there's one success, and we put that up there. Nothing. And 2 successes. All right, well, I don't have anything else prepped, so I get 2 successes there. Let's see if that's going to be enough to help her. Your prying must be putting the culprit, whoever they may be, ill at ease. Threat increases by 5. Okay. The man considers your question. It is hard to have a good opinion of your company when only hours ago you saw that hobbit lass tumble head over large feet down a steep hill on something as inane as an afternoon stroll. A fragile creature to be injured by something so trivial. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So he's saying that she was injured by tumbling down a hill, but we know that our spy was injured in a confrontation. So I'm really thinking it is the last, but for right now, she has one more action. And I'm just going to have her jump on this table and let's just see what happens. Yeah, the table looks like it could provide useful high ground. All right, spirit, test of 1. So again, her spirit is 3. 1, 2, nothing. And I mean, I can spend an inspiration to get an inspiration, actually become emboldened, but then I would lose emboldened because there's no enemies nearby. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'll just fail it and go ahead and move on. Leaping up on the table seems a bit silly to you and certainly too much effort. Yep, I would say so. All right, so let's go into the shadow phase. The shadow deepens, though hope yet endures. Threat increases by 4. Your investigation in the tavern has shown you how reticent the guests can be. One of them must be the spy, with a treacherous heart and lies on their lips. But it is difficult to discern the answer when everyone is so hostile to outsiders. Each hero suffers 3 fear, spirit negates, okay? We'll go to Beravor first, and again, she draws 3. There's 1 success. 2. All right, so I can actually do this without taking fear, but I'd have to lose both of my inspiration to do that. And we'll spend one of her inspirations to get 2 successes, and then I'll just take a fear. So let me discard all of this, and then I'll get a fear card. And the fear card is going to be Cower. Keep this card face up. When you attack, reveal 1 fewer card. During your turn, if you are emboldened, you may discard this card. Okay. So that's her. And then Legolas, his spirit is only 2. So he gets nothing there. So nothing. He's going to take all 3 fear. Oh, actually, I do have determined. I could use that to prevent it, and I think I will. Discard this to remove those. All right, here's determined. When you test, you may discard this boon to discard any number of cards from the test and reveal that many additional cards. I'm going to do that and, hope that I get some kind of success. 1. Nothing. He doesn't have an inspiration, so he's still going to be taking 3 fear. All right, let's see what he gets. Rage. Keep this card face up. You cannot prevent damage, including negate test. When you attack, add 2 hits. Well, that's good for attacking, but that's not good because I can't prevent damage. Impending Doom, discard 1 prepared card or suffer 1 of fear, then flip this card face down. Alright, I don't want to discard either one, but I don't want to get another fear. I guess I'll go ahead and discard Deathstroke. And then I flip that face down. And then Anxiety, flip 1 fear face up, then flip this card face down. Well, unfortunately, that's going to be this. So I have to either discard a prepared or suffer 1. So I guess I'll discard Coordinated Strike. And I flip them both back face down. Alright, that was painful. Let's go back to the app. Let them know we're going to continue. Rally phase. Okay, so we're going to reset decks and then scout. Okay, let's go to Beravor first. For her scout, she has Mistwalker and Find a Way. And there we go. I like Find a Way because when I sprint, if she sprints, I can get one of those things. I'm going to go ahead and prep that and put Mistwalker. I'll just put it at the bottom. So hopefully successes will be up at the top. All right. And then we're going to go over to Legolas. His scout 2 is Deathstroke. Good. Might get that back. And Coordinated Strike. This is the rally phase. There are no enemies nearby, so I'm going to go ahead and use my trinket and discard that and use my old pipe to be able to prep both of these. That worked out great. I did shuffle the deck. I know that I just lost those 2 because of the fear, but I did shuffle my deck, and there they are back. So let's go ahead back to the app and let it know we're going to continue. Action phase. Well, I'm going to go ahead and have Beravor go first, talk one more time to this guy, but I'm thinking by the end of this round, I'm going to try to call out that Hobbit because I really think that is the spy. But again, I want to start with Beravor, see if I can't get some more information out of this guy that she's with. So, okay, and so we know that whoever fought the Ranger is hurt. So I'm going to say, pardon me, could I interest you in a healing salve? You attempt to look unassuming, test wit, which is her worst stat. All right, well, let's test it. I do have an inspiration, and I do have clever wit, so she's going to draw 2 cards. We get a success, and we get that. So I'm going to save up my inspiration and use clever wit to add a success. Actually, I'm not going to save up my inspiration. I'm going to go ahead and use it. So Undying Might, I'm going to turn that into a success. So I've actually got 3 successes here. I'm going to discard all this and let the app know that I have 3 successes, and hopefully I'll get some good information here. I do, but I warn you, I will not pay exorbitant amounts due to our surroundings. I would rather suffer the few bruises from a fall from my horse rather than spend my already dwindling coin on an overpriced poultice. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but you continue to haggle with a man until he tosses you a few meager coins in exchange for a small pot of eglantine salve. Okay, I'm not convinced that he's it, and she can sprint, and I'm thinking about to get into a fight, so I'd like to be in the space with that Hobbit, hoping that that's going to bring out our spy, maybe get me into a fight. So I'm actually, if I become emboldened, I can get rid of this cower. So I'm going to interact with this table again with her and leap up on it, test spirit, and let's see what happens this time. I get to draw 3 cards for spirit. So there's 1, I could use that. There we go, we got a success. All right, so she succeeded. So I'll let the app know that I did. You jump up on the table, rising above your surroundings. Gain 1 inspiration and become emboldened. So she's going to get an inspiration. She's going to become emboldened. And that's what emboldened does. At the end of your turn, if there are no nearby enemies, discard this boon. So she's going to end up having to discard it because of that. But the reason why I wanted to do this is because during your turn, if you are emboldened, you may discard this card. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, discard it. And for now, I'll put emboldened in her space here. But there is one more thing I want to do, because she's done now. She's done 2 actions. But I think I want to go ahead and hide, because I have just done a test. And so, you know, obviously with self-sufficient, after you test, discard, become hidden. I'm going to discard that so that she can become hidden, because I'm hoping that soon we're going to be getting into a confrontation here, and I'm going to need it. And it is the end of her turn. There are no enemies nearby, and so I'm going to have to discard embolden. And I could sprint with Find a Way and get her into the space with Legolas. And if I sprint, I can become determined, gain an inspiration, or scout 1. Oh, after I hide, by the way, once per turn, I can scout 1. So I think I will go ahead and do that. Into hiding. Perfect. Okay, so I'll put that down here. That's a guard 2. And I can become hidden again if I need to. So that's good. So should I go ahead and sprint into his space? I think that I am going to use Find a Way to sprint and then either gain an inspiration, another inspiration, or become determined. So let's go back to that. You can see it down here at the bottom of the board. I am gonna do that. I'm gonna sprint with her. And so she's gonna move down to the space, be in the space with Legolas. And after I do that, I have 1 inspiration, and determined is nice. I'd like to do that. I do have honed agility prepped so I can get an extra success. So I do have the inspiration. I do have a way to get a success. I will become determined, and so I'll put that in her area, and then I'm going to discard this, and finally she's going to be done. And we'll move over to Legolas's turn. Now, Legolas, as you can see, I'm going to have him interact there with that hobbit. And let's see, well, let's just interact with her. Okay, the curly-haired hobbit. You know, I really want to do this before things get out of hand. And I'm not 100% sure it's her. I'm not very good at deduction a lot of times. But if this is the spy and we go into combat, I want he can have at least 1 opportunity to get off a shot. So I am going to apprehend the spy. If your guess is mistaken, you will not receive another try. Failing to guess at all, however, will be an equal disappointment. Are you ready to commit to your guess? No, I'm going to be a little bit of a coward. I'm not ready to apprehend, but I am going to interact with her, and I'm going to ask her what she thinks of other guests. The room seems to stand still, every ear listening. Test spirit. Okay? So let's go to Legolas, and spirit is only 2 for him. Ancient wisdom and clever wit, so nothing. All right, so let's confirm it. Your prying must be putting the culprit, whoever they may be, ill at ease. Threat increases by 5. The hobbit last shrugs. They don't seem to know much about anything worth knowing. All right, I've got 1 more action. And if it's a spirit test, let's see, is that even an option? No, it's not an option anymore. So we're just gonna go ahead and apprehend her. The guests loudly protest their innocence when you accost them, and the rest of the inn erupts in confusion. When you glance around, it seems the man is missing. With a sinking feeling, you realize that they might have left to fetch reinforcements. Sure enough, a group of enemies arrives to eliminate all evidence of the enemy's agent, and the innkeeper and guests flee screaming. Discard all search and person tokens. Place 2 goblin scouts on the indicated space. All right, so we're going to come in back here. Sorry about that, folks. You didn't get to see it. But we're replacing that. Place one Ruffian on the indicated space. Okay, and he's back here. Place one Ruffian on the indicated space. All right, he comes in up here with a banner. This blue banner here. Thankfully, you can use some of your surroundings to your advantage. All terrain now works as normal. As your foes burst into the end, they strew Burney branches everywhere and turn their attention to eliminating you. You know that your only hope now is to douse the flames in case the spy had useful information hidden somewhere in the building. Place threat tokens as indicated. These are the fires. Objective updated, put out the fires. Okay, so let me place these fire tokens in all their spaces. All right, so it looks like they're all in their spaces, and that was Legolas's last turn, and so they're actually done. So we're going to have to go to the shadow phase. All right, so the Ruffian is going to move to and attack Legolas, and it's the one that's in the back over here, so he can't reach Legolas, so he doesn't have a target. Move 4 spaces toward the closest hero, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put him in space with them. And then the other Ruffian, the one that does have the banner, wants to move 2 to Legolas and attack, and he can do that, so we'll move him 2 spaces in. And let me remove these tokens. Okay, so I've removed all the tokens, and now this Ruffian's going to attack Legolas. Your foe swings a heavy warhammer as easily as he would swing a toy wooden sword. Might negates, so we have 2 damage. And I cannot prevent damage, so because of rage. So I'm going to have to take that 2 damage. So let's go and see what that is. So flip this card face down. And knocked prone. Deplete one of your trinkets, which they're both depleted, and discard 1 prepared card, then discard this card. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and I guess discard Coordinated Strike so I can keep Deathstroke. And I get to discard that, so he only has 1 damage on him. All right, and then the Goblin wants to move 2 and attack Beravor, but he's too far away to do that, so he doesn't have a target. Snarling, a Goblin stalks after you, determined to draw blood, move 4 spaces toward the closest hero. Okay, and they can do that. So 1, that's going to put everybody in the same space with this fire pit. The shadow deepens, though hope yet endures, threat increases by 9. And we have an event. The enemies are ferocious and the fire is raging out of control. Your hopes begin to wane. Each hero discards 1 boon. All right? Legolas doesn't have a boon. Beravor has 2. I'm going to have her discard Determined, I guess, because I want her to stay hidden. And we're in the rally phase. Each hero resets her deck and scouts. Okay, so let's go ahead and scout first with Beravor. And she gets Fateless and Unyielding Spirit. Oh man, I think I'm going to go ahead and prep Fateless, because that could be helpful in getting some successes. And then Unyielding Spirit, I do have an inspiration. I'm going to put it at the bottom though. Hopefully my successes will be up towards the top. Okay, and he'll scout 2. Coordinated Strike, and that's probably what I'm going to end up prepping. And Ancient Wisdom. I am going to put Coordinated Strike out. I got so lucky. Yes, I mean, I did shuffle. I'm going to put this at the bottom, this Ancient Wisdom. I did shuffle, but I really need that Strike so that I can get maybe a Cleave or something, because Beravor is in his space. All right, let's go back to the app and continue. Action phase. Well, they're all, I really need to get these threat tokens, and I realize that, but there are 4 enemies in my space. And Legolas, even though I don't have any inspiration tokens, I get to add 2 hits because of rage. And then I do have a strike 2, which can be lethal, and a strike 1. And because Beravor is in space with him, I can pick a modifier of my choice. So I think I'm going to go ahead and have him attack first. And let's look and see what everybody has. No bonuses, but I need 8 hits there, unless I can get Pierce. I'd only need 6 or something, or Cleave. I would only need 3 successes, or 3 hits, and I can get that with Rage and Coordinated Strike. And then he's 5, and the other one's just 5. Okay, I think I am going to have Legolas just go ahead and attack these 2 Goblin Scouts. So let's move over to him. And he gets to draw 4 for his crossbow. And I can discard a card, a fate icon for Cleave, because I'm in a fire pit space. But anyway, there's 1. There's a success. 2 successes. And 3. Okay, so I've already got 2 successes there. And that's going to, 2 successes is 5 hits. And actually I get to add 2, so that's going to be 7 hits. And I need 8 hits to kill him. Okay, and so as I said, I get 7 hits, 8 to kill him. But remember, I can discard a card with a fate icon here, because I'm in a fire space, to add Pierce. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to discard this for Pierce, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in the 7 hits, and this should kill the goblins. All right, so we got to make sure we do Pierce. Put in 7 hits, which is going to be way, plenty. Remove 2 goblins, and your nearby hero gains an inspiration. So I'm going to remove the 2 goblins off the map, and I'm going to give Legolas the inspiration because Beravor has 1. All right, and I still have my Coordinated Strike and Death Stroke. So for the next one, I'm going to go ahead and have him attack again. And I'm going to go after one of these ruffians. So let's go back over to Legolas and draw 4 cards. We have Undying Might, Resourceful, a success. So I've got 1 success, that's 2 hits. And then Rage gives me 2 hits, that's 4. I need a total of 5. And so I'm going to save my Coordinated Strike and Death Stroke, use my inspiration to get the 2 hits that I need. That's going to be 5. And so I should be able to go ahead and defeat him with those 5 hits. And again, the 2 successes give me 5 hits, and they're only 5 hit. They only have 5 health. So let's go back to the map, and we'll just take out the one that has the banner so I can get the banner off. So I got 2 successes, 5 hits. I'll remove him, and I get an inspiration. Okay, so now it's Beravor's turn. Now, I do have I could go ahead and attack him, and I hopefully can kill him, but even if I don't, maybe I can stun him, and then I can move into a space with a threat token. I'm actually kind of tempted to go ahead and move out, let him provoke an attack, because she does have Into Hiding, which can remove, it's a guard 2, and so that would let her prevent some damage, and she would remain hidden. But I don't know, I think maybe the best thing to do is just go ahead and take him out, and then next time start working on these threat tokens that are around here. No, I'm not going to attack him. I'm going to do something that maybe I shouldn't, but I've got to get rid of these threat tokens. She's hidden. She has Into Hiding, which can give a guard 2. So even if I provoke the attack, she shouldn't take any damage, and then I can come down here and remove this threat token, and hopefully the counter attack or the provoke attack will exhaust him, and maybe Legolas won't be attacked. But I really think I need to do this So I'm going to go ahead and move her down here, and it's going to provoke that attack. Your foe swings a heavy warhammer as easily as he would swing a toy wooden sword. Might negates, okay? Her might is 3, so she's going to test that. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have 1 success, and, oh, wait a minute. I'm attacked. I have to discard hidden. Sorry about that, folks. I guess I'll shuffle these back in, which is a bummer because I could have used that success, but I'm hidden, and she is being attacked, so I have to discard the hidden card. Okay, so I'll do that. I'll discard hidden to prevent the damage. I'll go back to the app, let the app know that. And so she is now going to interact with this threat token. But before I do, I'm not on a space with anybody. And so I'm going to discard into hiding to allow her to become hidden again. Now, I don't get to use her ability with this because I'm not hiding. I'm just going into hiding. It doesn't trigger her ability, but that's okay. I'm going hidden in case, because I'm going to have her come out to the courtyard here, and just in case some enemies pop up, she'll have some defense. And I do have Fateless, hopefully, to deal with this threat token. So I moved for 1. I still have 1 movement point also after this. So let's go ahead and interact with this threat token. The orcs have set the inn on fire in an attempt to wipe out any useful information. Put out the fire. The stone walls are supported by dry timber beams and covered with a thatched roof. It will take some work to put out the flames. Test agility. Okay. Well, let's go over to her. Her agility is 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. So I do have an inspiration, but I think instead I'm going to use Fateless to convert those into successes. I do have a honed agility, but if agility is what we need to put out these fires, and I don't know if that's true for all of them, but if it is, I'm going to hold on to that for later and go ahead and just use Fateless to turn all of these into 3 successes and hope that that's enough. So let's go back to the app and put that in. With depth movements, you're able to stamp out the flames from this area of the inn. Discard this threat. All right, good. So we did get rid of the threat. Very good. All right, and she does have 1 more movement point, so I'm going to have her move into here. And that's going to be the... and he did not... I don't know if he's exhausted down here, but we'll find out. But that's going to be the action phase. Nope, he gets to attack. So he is going to move and attack her. Move 2. And attack. But she's hidden, so I'm going to discard hidden to prevent that damage and confirm. The shadows deepen, though hope yet endures. Threat increases by 8. All right, place 1 Ruffian is indicated. So we got another Ruffian coming back in down here. And another Ruffian coming into the game. Okay, so he'll come in back here with a banner, so we'll know who he is, and continue. And another Ruffian comes in. Okay, and he'll come in the same space that she's in. More reinforcements arrive to bolster the enemy's forces. All right, rally phase. Well, we'll reset the decks and then scout 2. Okay, let's go ahead and scout 2. We'll start with Beravor. Quiet, which she can hide, which that would be good. And into hiding. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and prep into hiding because that'll let her hide as well. Obviously, nobody can be in her space, but it will let her hide. And then I can put this on top for a success to guarantee a success. All right, let's go ahead to Legolas. His scout is Keen Eye, and that is perfect. That's what I need. And Immortality. Okay, I'm going to prep Keen Eyes. and then put immortality at the bottom. Even though I really do need to rest, you know, my plan is to, let me show you what I'm thinking. My plan is, now that I have keen eyes, go ahead and attack these two, and then he can stay there and hopefully take care of these threat. Maybe she can take care of this threat, or come down here and take out a Ruffian and take care of some of these threats. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking. So let's go back to the app and let them know that we've scouted. And it is the action phase. I think I will go ahead and have him go, because we do need to get rid of these Ruffians so that she can at least interact with that threat token, and hopefully interact without having to worry too much about getting hurt. So he's going to go first, and he's going to attack one of the Ruffians. I don't think it matters. It's whichever one has 5 hit points. So he gets to draw 4. We have a success. That. Tireless. And so we got 1 success. That's 2 hits. And she is in a spot with him. So if I use that, and if I use coordinated strike here, I can choose to go lethal, and that will be 3. Actually, no, he has 4 hits on them because of rage. So, and he's standing in a fire pit, so I can discard. Well, that's not going to do any good. Pierce isn't going to do any good. So I do have an inspiration, and I hate to waste my strikes if I don't think I need them. So I think I'll just go ahead and use an inspiration. Well, I need inspirations for the fires. Okay, he has a total of 4 hits. I want to save my inspiration. I will go ahead and use coordinated to strike. It should be enough to kill him, so it doesn't really matter what the modifier is. I'll probably just put in stun just in case something happens. But actually, let's look and see the hit points. And I'm going to attack the one with the green banner. So I'm going to get 5 hits. Okay, so we want to do the one with the green banner. Yeah, and so, well, I'll just put in stun just for the fun of it. Okay, remove a Ruffian, and Legolas will get the inspiration because she actually is not nearby. All right, and then I'm going to attack the other Ruffian in the space, which is the one that is not, doesn't have anything, and he is also a 5. Yes, okay. So let's go back and draw 4 more cards. There's Time of Need. 2, 3, 4. So I didn't get any successes there, but I do get 2 hits from Rage. And then if I use Deathstroke, I can get a strike 2, which is 4, and then I can use lethal, and that will kill him. So I am going to do that. So I got 2 hits from Rage, 2 hits from Deathstroke, and I'm going to put in lethal, and that should kill him. And I should get another inspiration here. So let's go and put that in. All right, lethal. And we only had 4 hits. Yep, and that'll do it. And I removed that Ruffian and gain an inspiration. So now he's got 3 inspirations that he can use to hopefully help him put out those 2 fires over there if he needs to do it. So now it's Beravor's turn. And I just realized that when I interacted with the threat token that was right here in the end, I took the right one out, but I pressed the wrong one on the app. As you can see, that one's still in the game and this one's not. This threat token right here should still be here. So, you know, it's Beravor's first turn. I'm going to have her interact with this, but I'm just going to have to click this one over here that's on the app and just hope that that's not going to be much of a problem. Shouldn't be. If it is, oh well, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it now. All right, so put out the fire. And it is the same thing. It is going to be an agility test. And her agility is 3. And there's 1 success. Nothing. And that And I think I need 3 successes to put these out, so I'm going to spend the last inspiration she has to turn that into a success, and I'm going to play Honed Agility to get the 3 successes that I think I'm going to need to get rid of this token. So barely did it, but you know what? I did it. So let's go back to the app, put that in. With Death Movement, you're able to stamp out the flames and then discard this threat token, which is this one this time. So now we only have 3 threat tokens left. That was her first action. And so now she has another action. And I think Legolas could probably take care of those things up there. All right, there's really not much for me to do. I do want to get in there and get that threat token. So before I move, I'm going to discard her Into Hiding skill here so that she can become hidden. And she will become hidden because I'm going to move in a space with that Ruffian. He's going to attack me and that'll prevent some damage. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and discard that. And then for her last action, I'm just going to move her in here. And that may be silly. And this search token I don't think is supposed to be here anymore. That may be silly, but I've got to get these threat tokens out of the way. Time is running out, and there's only 3 left. She can take care of 1, and Legolas can take care of 1 on the next turn, and I may have a chance to at least complete this. So that's going to be it. We will finish the action phase. Okay, so this Ruffian with the blue banner is in her space and he wants to attack her, so he will. And she's hidden, so she has to discard hidden to prevent that damage. And it says if you suffer damage from this attack, gain 1 weakness and shuffle into your deck, but she does not. So we're done there. Oh, and then the other one wants to move to and attack her. So they're all coming after her. Neither one of them like her. So they're going to come in. He's going to come in down here and attack her. A warrior moves with blinding speed, slashing at you in wide areas. Wit negates, okay? So let's go ahead and try to negate this. That. So nothing. She will get nothing from that. She's going to have to take that damage, and after this attack, flip 2 damage face up, but she's only going to have 1. So it's weariness. It'll flip face down, but then at the end it'll flip face up and flip face down. So she's got 1 damage on her. Okay, let's go back to the app and confirm that. Threat increases by 7. And it's getting close. I've got to win soon. All right, each hero resets and scouts 2. All right, well, let's go to Beravor first. Scout 2. Let's get something good here. Self-sufficient and Fateless. Okay, I'm going to prep Fateless because I can turn fate icons into successes and put self-sufficient down at the bottom. All right, and so then it's going to be Legolas's turn. He's going to scout. We have a success. That's good. And resourceful. So I'm going to go ahead and prep resourceful. And when I prep that, I get an inspiration. So now he's at 4 inspirations. I'm going to put Precise Strike on the top because he's about to go in and deal with that threat token. So let's go to the app, continue on. And the first thing we're going to do is have Legolas move in and deal with that threat token that's over here in this corner, right here, you know, the space next to him. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. So we'll move in with this threat token right here and interact with it. Put out the fire. It is an agility test, as we know. He gets to draw 4 cards. I should be able to succeed here because I got 1 success. Nothing. That's not good to see. Nothing. And a fate. So we're going to spend a resource, an inspiration to get 2 successes. I don't think that's going to be enough. And that's very disappointing because I have a lot of inspirations. And You know, just didn't get the card draw that time, but that is what it is. Go back to the app. 2 successes. With deft movements, you're able to stamp out the flames from this area of the end. Discard this threat token. Okay, well, only needed 2. I thought it was going to need 3, but it only needed 2, so good. Now, he does have 1 more movement point, but he doesn't need to move in there in case the fire for some reason does damage at the end of this phase. I mean, I know there's no more threat events, but he can always move in there next turn and get that because he's done. Now it's over to Beravor. I think the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and try and attack one of these ruffians. So let's go over to her. It doesn't really matter which one I do because they got 5 hits. So we'll go over to her, and she gets to draw 3 for her agility. There's 1, 2, 3. I could actually turn that in to 3 successes and kill one of these ruffians. But I really want to have an inspiration token for the threat. I don't want to use Fateless here, but I think I will go ahead and use Fateless to turn those into 3 successes. And so that's going to be the 5 hits that she'll need to defeat this ruffian. Let's stun him just to be safe. And that does, let's see, it was the blue one. So that does give her an inspiration token. And that's good. And so we'll remove the blue one. And then with her second action, I think I do still have 1 more turn. And, oh, yeah. I was going to say I was going to use Resourceful for Legolas, but I won't. I think I do still have at least 1 more turn. So let me think if I want to go after that threat token now. Really want to go ahead and just go for the win and try to get this threat token out of the way so that Legolas can go up there and do what he's got to do, because if I can remove this threat token, threat would only go up by 5 to 50. And then, well, I think I've only got 1 more turn after this. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to interact with this threat token, which will provoke this guy. And Wisdom's going to negate. A ruffian strikes 2 swords together with a frightening clang. Wisdom negates 1 damage or 1 fear. Okay, let's go to her. Her wisdom is 3. And I'm also trying to get stuff out of the deck so that I can get successes for that threat token. All right, so there we go. I'm not going to spend the inspiration. I'll just take the 1 damage and the 1 fear. Okay, so the damage is going to be Cursed Injury. Keep this face up. If you would discard a face up strike, flip it face down. So she's got 2 of those. And then her fear is Looming Shadows. If you are in a space with darkness, suffer 1. Then flip this card face down. So she's not. All right. So she is going to get to go ahead and interact with that search token. Okay, we know it's an agility test. So we'll go over to her. I get to draw 3, and I do have an inspiration, so let's hope I get 1 success here. That's not what I want to see. That's not what I want to see. So I got 1 success. Unfortunately, that's all I'm going to get. So we'll go back to the app and put in 1 success. The fire continues to burn. All right, well, that's her 2 actions. They're both done, so we'll go back to the shadow phase. All right, oh, good. He's going to leave this space. Well, no, he won't, because Legolas is too far away, so he's going to attack Beravor. And Spirit's going to... Your foe gives you a sniff of disdain before unsheathing a gleaming longsword. Spirit negates. Okay. So her spirit is 3. That's going to negate 1. That's going to negate 1. So she's not going to take any damage. There's the 3 successes I needed. I needed at least 2 of those, I think. But anyway, she won't take any damage. So we'll go back and confirm that. And threat increases by 6. Yeah, pretty sure this is going to be my last turn, no matter what happens. So we'll scout, reset the decks, and then scout. And she gets into hiding and the weakness. Well, the weakness isn't going to do any good. Definitely going to put that on underneath. And really, into hiding isn't going to do much, except it does have guard 2, so I'll just prep it so that it doesn't go back into my deck at all. Not that it makes much of a difference, because this is the last round. So Legolas is going to scout 2. Coordinated strike, he doesn't need that. And time of need, I'll prep time of need just in case I need it for that threat token up there, and I'll put coordinated strike at the bottom. And we'll go back to the app and continue on to the action phase. All right, well, the big one is going to be Beravor, because she's only got 1 inspiration. But I'm going to go ahead and spend both of her actions to try to get it, because this first action, you know, we already put 1 success in last time. In this first action, she has a guard 2 to prevent damage or fear. So I'm not real worried about the provoke attack. So I am going to go ahead and provoke him. And wisdom's going to negate. Let's see what happens. So her wisdom is a 3. And there's a success. I don't want to get too many successes right now. All right, so that's going to prevent 1. I'm going to go ahead and just discard into hiding to prevent the other one, so she won't take any damage from this. Okay, so we'll confirm that, and that's going to let her interact with this token. And it is still an agility test. Her agility is 3. She does have an inspiration. So there's 1. That looks like we may have it. 2, there's a second success. 3, I'll go ahead and spend the inspiration to put in 2 successes there. So that should do it for this threat token that where she's at. So we'll put in the 2 successes. Yes, with death movement, you're able to stamp out the flames from this area and discard this threat token. All right, so we got 1 more threat token left. And that's over there where Legolas is. She does have 1 more action. I mean, I don't think I have to spend an action to attack him. I don't know why I would have to. I'm just going to end her actions right there. I don't think I have to take an action. So we're going to go over to Legolas down there. And to make sure that he does this, I'm going to use an inspiration to let him use his ability to move 1 space without provoking attacks. So that's a free move, and I still have 2 inspirations left and time of need. So I've got 2 actions to be able to deal with this threat token. Okay, we see that it's an agility test there. The stone walls are supported by dry timber beams and covered with a thatch roof. It will take some work to put out the flames. All right, so he gets to draw 4 for agility. And there's 1. We do have time of need if we need to convert these. Well, there's 1 success. 2. All right, 2 successes. I'm going to go ahead and spend his last 2 inspirations to make that 4 total successes to make sure we do this, because that should be enough. So let's go back to the app, put in 4 successes. With death movement, you discard this threat token. All right. And after putting out the fires, you survey the wreckage of the inn. The spy has escaped with the orcs, but you find several documents in their room that detail their involvement with someone named a Terran. Could he be the man from the south Hanara was investigating? The spy has been seeking rumors of relics of power to pass along to a Terran's minions. It appears the Terran's orcs are already traveling to the ruined city of Fornost, where something called the Silent Scepter is hidden. The heroes win. Good, so I'm 2-2 now. You have identified a Terran, the ultimate foe. You will need to travel to Fornost and hopefully stop whatever plan he has for the Silent Scepter. Lore increases by 1. Each hero receives 4 experience. Well, that'll do it for chapter 4. And so just like with the last chapters, I'll go ahead and level up at the beginning of chapter 5. And, you know, it's a win. I'm excited about it. I think I did pretty good. Well, on the deduction part, I'm not sure how well I did because some orcs came in and put the place on fire. So I guess I don't know. I guess I didn't do that part right. I don't know if that's what happens, if you get it right or not. I thought I apprehended the right spy, but it doesn't matter to me. I was able to put out those threat tokens. Legolas came up big with those strikes and killing off the enemies so that we could focus on removing threats. And I am glad I went with Hidden with Beravor because that helped her prevent some damage. And then she was able to, that last time with her own card into hiding, she was able to take that Provoke attack so that she could work on that threat token. She also had that honed agility prep that one time to help with successes. And so I think everything went well and I'm excited about it. And so we'll move into chapter 5 next time. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider to like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll know when chapter 5 comes out or when any of my other videos come out. And until next time, I'll save you a seat at the table.